Here's something that's going to sound backwards. You have more friends than any ancient human ever did. More followers, more contacts, more group chats, and yet somehow you're lonelier than they ever were. Isolation didn't used to be terrifying. It used to just be Tuesday afternoon. So what changed? Because it's not us. It's something much bigger. Let's go back to basics for a second. Ancient humans lived in small groups, sure, but being physically alone, hunting alone, walking alone, sitting by yourself while everyone else worked, that happened constantly. And here's the part that should genuinely surprise you. It wasn't accompanied by the crushing anxiety we associate with loneliness today. Solitude existed. Loneliness, the way we experience it, mostly didn't. That distinction matters more than you think. Researchers studying hunter-gatherer societies today, communities that still live similarly to how ancient humans did, have found something consistent. Being physically alone rarely triggered the emotional spiral modern humans experience. Why? Because ancient humans had something we quietly lost somewhere between the invention of Wi-Fi and the death of the front porch. Secure belonging. They knew, without doubt, that their tribe existed, that their place in it was permanent. Being alone for an afternoon didn't threaten that. It was just geography, not an existential crisis. Compare that to now, where being alone on a Friday night can somehow feel like proof that something is wrong with you, which, statistically, it's not. It's just Friday. Here's where the science gets genuinely fascinating. Psychologists distinguish between solitude, which is being alone, and loneliness, which is feeling disconnected, regardless of how many people are around you. And that second one, the modern epidemic version, is largely a byproduct of something ancient humans simply didn't have. Comparison at scale. Ancient humans measured their social world by maybe 30 to 150 people, their entire tribe. That was it. That was the whole social universe. You, on the other hand, are constantly comparing your life to hundreds, sometimes thousands, of people you've never met, most of whom are only showing you their best 5 seconds of any given day. Ancient humans never had to watch someone's vacation, someone's relationship, someone's dinner, curated and edited, while sitting alone in their room, wondering why their life looked less exciting. Their brain simply wasn't built for that level of comparison. Ours is drowning in it daily. Now here's the twist that changes everything. Loneliness isn't actually about how many people are around you. It's about whether your brain believes you're socially secure. And that belief used to be automatic. In ancient tribal life, survival was directly tied to group belonging. If your tribe accepted you, your nervous system relaxed. Full stop. There was no ambiguity, no wondering if people secretly didn't like you, no anxiety about whether someone left you on red. You knew your status. You knew your place. Certainty, it turns out, is incredibly calming. Modern social life removed that certainty completely. You can have 500 online friends and still lie awake, wondering if anyone would actually notice if you disappeared for a week. Ancient humans never experienced that specific flavor of dread because their social bonds weren't optional add-ons. They were survival infrastructure, which honestly makes group projects in school look even more traumatic in hindsight. Let's talk about something researchers call the loneliness paradox. Studies have shown that loneliness has increased dramatically over the last several decades, despite unprecedented levels of digital connection. We're more reachable than any humans in history, and somehow more emotionally isolated than most of them ever were. Some psychologists believe this comes down to depth versus width. Ancient humans had fewer relationships, but those relationships were deep, physical, constant, and unconditional. You saw the same 50 faces every single day of your life. You didn't need to perform for them. They already knew you. Modern humans have hundreds of relationships that are wide but shallow, constant contact with almost no depth, which explains why you can text 15 people and still feel like nobody actually knows you. Here's the part that hits a little too close to home. Ancient humans rarely spent time comparing their solitude to some imaginary standard of what their life should look like. They weren't scrolling through other people's tribes, wondering if their own was somehow worse. Loneliness, as an internal, chronic, background hum of dissatisfaction, is largely a modern invention, born from constant visibility into lives we're not actually living. You're not weak for feeling lonely in a hyper-connected world. You're reacting completely rationally to an environment your brain was never built to process. And here's the honestly wild part. Some researchers now argue that true, structured alone time, the kind ancient humans experienced constantly, actually protects mental health, while performative connection, likes, comments, notifications, can quietly increase feelings of isolation, which means the thing we've been taught to fear, being alone, might genuinely be less damaging than the thing we've been taught to crave, constant digital validation. Ancient humans weren't lonelier than you. They were just more secure. They knew exactly where they stood, exactly who they belonged to, and exactly what tomorrow's tribe would look like. You're navigating a world with infinite audiences and zero certainty, and somehow we act surprised that this feels harder. Maybe the goal isn't to be around more people. Maybe it's remembering what it felt like to trust the people already around you. If this made you look at your own loneliness a little differently, that's exactly what it was supposed to do. Subscribe for more videos that dig into the strange, uncomfortable truths hiding behind everyday human behavior.